Hello, welcome to Tip Tuesday. My name is Adam Waymer. I'm Director of Customer Success here at IndySoft, and today I'm going to be taking you through conditional layouts. You're probably familiar with our current layout options and visibility controls on that. So we ship with multi-panel main as your sort of normal home layout, and you have control to make layouts that are visible down here in this bottom section based on a company or a profile or a user type. What we're discussing today is another level of visibility and control of data that people see when they log in. It's primarily driven off the event system, but you might find a more creative use for it. It all is built off of these functions here called EMBEDIF. And I'm going to show you real quickly what they are. So we have this function for EMBEDIF and EMBEDIFNOT, basically saying template name is the layout, profile group is the group of profiles this is valid for. EMBEDIFNOT is the same concept. So there's a couple pieces that we set up to get this working, and I'm going to do everything through the event system. When you're looking at this, think of the concept of I want to have something that shows up in every event for me as a system administrator, that whenever I go to it, there's data that I need to see that my technicians or anyone else who's running that event might not. Something that I can set up one time, put everywhere. If I change it, it cascades out everywhere. So I just want to see extra stuff as a system admin. You can probably think of more creative uses of it, but that's kind of the general test case and what I'll be showing here today. We recently had a webinar and we showed this data, so this is going to be a little bit of repeat, but I'm going to go into some advanced options with it as well. So let's get started. What do we need to set up to make these conditional layouts work? First thing, profile groups. It's an option you might not be too aware of in Profile Manager, but what you could do is you could set up groups of profile. You might have large variations of profiles for various reasons, but a lot of them they're the same level in terms of the organization, but there's different locations, groups, or reasons of why you had to break them apart. I've made a couple here. Editors is just system admin, no description listed. Elevated are power users and system admins. I trust those power users to do almost the same things I would the system admin in this elevated scenario. And then regular technicians, which is just a standard user, and if you have more, you just click and add to it. So that's the profile group. Step number one, we're looking good. The next thing that we're going to need is to create some global layouts. That actually happens in workflow configuration. So I'm going to go to Option, Global Event Layouts. I've made a few there. To get started with, we're going to talk about System Admin Details. I made this for that example I was talking about. I want to see some data that I don't want my technicians to see when I pull up the event. So System Admin Data, I just chose some random fields. I thought start date, start time might be interesting to me to see, like, okay, when did they actually click on this thing, start the event, as opposed to event date, which they may be backdating. You can come up with good reasons. You have every single option in here that you're used to when working in a layout. You can put custom SQL, you can put attributes, whatever that might be, you can put in here. And I also made another one for technicians, just called Log Your Time, so we could see some differentiation of what would happen when you log in. So how do we then set it up? So profile groups are created, because that's part of the function. Global layouts are created. That's part of the function. So where do I then do everything? Alright, I'm in my creatively named event called Conditional Layout, and I'm going to design that layout. It exists the same way you normally create a layout when you're working an event. Put your fields in. Whatever data needs to be captured in that event, that goes there. But then here at this bottom section, I have two statements. EMBEDIF equals sysadmin details and elevated. EMBEDIF equals log your time and text. All that's going to do when you launch this event is say, are you part of the elevated group? Then you're going to see this data. Are you part of the text group? Then you're going to see this data as well. And you can have all of this information. Like, you could have multiples there, and it will add multiple ones of these layouts in there. It's not exclusive to just one. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to close this, minimize this, and I'm currently logged in as Indy Adam. I'm a system administrator, so when I launch this event, I'm going to go to my miscellaneous conditional layout event. Now you're used to everything that you normally would set up in the event is there, and then I now have this conditional system admin data. So let me cancel out of this. Now I'm going to log in. Let me log out and log back in here. I'm going to log in as a technician. I'm going to launch the same event. The system admin data is gone. It is just the log your time record, because it's already here in the event with our multiple employee time logs icon, but I want people to know. I want you to log your time. So click in here, add your record. I worked on this for 7 hours. Good for me. I was really slow at my job. So it's just a different thing that I can show to them. And every event that I put that same statement in, this will show up. So I might have 10 events where I want that log your time to show up at the bottom. And all I have to do is put that embed-if statement in each one of those layouts, and that's going to pop out. And if I make a change to that global layout, it's going to be true on all of those events. So it's a really nice functionality to give you some streamline what you're doing across all events, because maybe you've got a header section in your event where you always have the same 5 fields. Well, you can make it one time, put that in every single, that embed if in each one of your events, and it's going to be consistent across all of them. It creates some uniformity for people logging in. And again, the example of I just want extra data. But let's say I have even more variation that needs to take place than just a couple groups. We actually allow scripting options. So what you've seen so far is very similar to what existed in the webinar, and here's where we're going to go a step further. I'm going to cancel out of here. So I've got really tricky logic of what I want to see. I've made a bunch of layouts, and I want to provide some just unique logic that I can't think of a great example of right now, but you're going to see the one I came up with. So we have in custom scripting a trigger action called before layout merge, and what that means is before we bring all the data in to show you the layout, we have a step that we can change things on the fly. So what I've done here is I've created a custom rule. The first thing I've done is I get the layout RTF. That's in scripting saying give me the layout that's about to load. I assign it to slayout_rtf, so I just have sort of a string, and now I can modify that string with really basic scripting functions. So the logic here is saying if not in profile group for the current user, well, the person logging in is not an editor. And then here it says, okay, are they also not a tech? The two we saw in the previous item. What should I set that layout to? You could clear it so that nothing else conditional shows, if you wanted to. Or what I've done there is I've created a hello there embed. Note, all I'm doing is taking that same layout, the string of the layout basically, and replacing the data that exists there and putting in this one and forcing it to be that. You'll note it's not embed if, I'm just saying embed equals. And you probably saw that in the list of drop down of function options we have. I set the slayout_rtf, the string of what that RTF is, to the new value where I've updated that information, and then it's going to act a little different. So let me get that up real quick. And I'm going to log in as another user I created. I created an Indy audit, basically an auditor. And let's log in and see what they get when the event launches. Just a little thank you for viewing this video. A third layout. So that's basically it. You have a lot of freedom with this and a lot of control. It's up to you to figure out what might be useful for you and how you can take advantage of it, how you can streamline event layouts. These functions are available on home and equipment view as well for different layouts, but really this was the goal, to get some variation inside these event layouts. If you've got any questions, please reach out to support@IndySoft.com. We are always happy to help and guide you in the right direction. And of course, if you want us to build some crazy conditional logic, we have a wonderful implementation staff that are always happy to help as well. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day. Stay safe.